A lot has changed overnight, but Buick and GMC's commitment to you remains the same. We understand you want to feel safe, so we're offering current owners complimentary OnStar Crisis Assist services. Should you need a vehicle, we're offering 0% financing for up to 84 months with deferred payment options for 120 days. Plus, you may have the option to shop online and take delivery at home. Visit our websites for the help you need.
Visit AutoSpot GMC today.
Hello, my name is Mark Berry. I'm a 4-year Air Force veteran and close to 20 years of DoD fire service. Last year, June of 2019, we happened to have one of the hardest parts of our lives happen. We had a medical with me, ended up with massive hemoptysis. And during that time, while I was in the medically induced coma, my wife frantically looked for help. She found the congressman's office, which responded extremely quickly. They found out that I was improperly coded in the VA and quickly helped to fix it, which allowed me to get a medical flight to UCLA and get the medical treatment I needed, and that's why I'm here today.
I just want to say to anyone out there, if you have any federal issues, please visit your congressman's office to see what resources are available.
This ad was paid for with official funds from the office of Congressman Michael F.Q. San Nicolas.
Funerals actually take a lot more planning than I expected. With us using island cuisine for the first time, of course we were iffy, but once they came and showed us their service, their food, we tasted their food and everything, we definitely use them again because their service and food is just awesome.
After Guam, si Rod's Gimpap introducing the 2020 Toyota Tacoma Access Cap T-Max. Este na mês, kaso may promo ng United Airlines, $1,000 United vouchers. After nananga, sabik sa something mamanono si Tacoma, Guam, Tacoma territory. Text si Rod's ginagi Atkins Pro Toyota, 671-788-2584. Talong Brian, go si Rod's, sinanagan sa 671-788-2584. After nananga, let's go places.
Many accolades and celebrations.
Half a day and welcome to this Thursday edition of Candid News. I'm Johnny Rosario.
It's Thursday? Yes.
Yes.
Holy Thursday. And I'm Troy Torres.
Welcome.
And you are, sir?
Half a day, everybody. I'm Eric.
Welcome to our studios here in Tumon, Guam. The legislature has not gone into session yet, but we do have news to bring to you before the legislature goes into session. We just published a story. Oh, I didn't press send here, sorry. Post. We just now published a story about, a back and forth that's happening between the Guam legislature and the governor's office. Basically, Speaker Tina Munya Barnes has seen national news about 750,000 test kits from South Korea being procured by the federal government, right?
Yeah, I like posting that on their pages.
Oh,
by the way,
or Trump.
President Trump.
Not just President Trump, but also Governor Ralph Torres. And there was an effort to discredit what Governor Ralph Torres was doing. Yesterday, when they were saying, "Oh, this is not FDA approved," that's what Dr. Mike Cruz said in his letter back to Speaker Tina Munya Barnes, which she sent to the governor.
What Dr. Cabrera read on their live,
asking, if the federal government's doing this, if Saipan's doing this, can we do this? Can we procure these test kits? Hey, we're getting 141 point whatever million dollars in federal funding. There's other federal funding that's coming that's specific to using these monies for test kits and things of that sort.
And they came back punching.
Yeah, they said no because this is not for emergency something testing or whatever. I think they're playing semantics again.
They are.
And so the purpose of this mass testing is so that we have a better idea of what the infection curve is. And for the speaker's perspective, it's all of her colleagues. Johnny made one to tease us. It's really good. It's almost gone, actually.
It's gone. It's not almost gone. It's gone.
As soon as I have these 2 bites. So for the speaker, it's a bunch of her colleagues were saying yesterday in session. Oh. So put the mic on me? Okay. They were saying yesterday in session, you know, what happened to the 4,000 testing kits that we were supposed to get last week? How do we know what the infection curve is? How will we make good public policy on the coronavirus if what we have to rely on the infection curve isn't much to rely on at all because we're testing so few people at a time and we're not even testing those with mild symptoms. We're definitely not testing those who are asymptomatic. Why don't we do what Saipan's doing and have a goal?
And mass tests.
And mass tests. For Saipan, you know, they have, 60,000 residents, so Governor Ralph Torres ordered 60,000 tests. I don't know if that's really a reality for Guam because we would need like 174,000 tests if we were going to test everybody. But I think the going theory from the speaker and her colleagues and many in the medical community who apparently are not on the governor's medical advisory team is the more we test, especially if we can get them into clusters, identify clusters and test those, and those who have been in contact with those clusters.
None of the data we can't use anything because they're not being tested.
Yeah.
So even with the things that we do know that have data, which is people do not have money to buy food, okay? Things of that nature is not even being done. So what more? We're gonna dance around and say, oh, it's not FDA approved, and we don't. No, just if we do get those test kits, we have 160,000 people. I know that I've been safe, right? But so if we only get 80,000, let everybody that has symptoms and everybody that's been with somebody that tested positive, and so let them go first.
Hell, if we got,
I don't mind.
If we got 10,000,
yeah,
it would still be a lot better than,
right.
You know what I mean? We have a better idea. And so the speaker came up with, I didn't realize she had her own medical advisory group. And on that group is former Senator Dennis Rodriguez, who runs the Todo Guam Foundation. BIBA, yes. They that from the time the Todo Guam Foundation existed years ago, it has been dedicated to healthcare for many people, and they've expanded into relationships that they have in the community and also internationally, where they have this relationship with the same South Korean company that is producing these test kits that the federal government is ordering from, that the Saipan governor ordered from, and the speaker and her group that includes Senator Rodriguez have this plan to bring in enough test kits and the capacity to test 450 a day. So right now, the average that they're testing is like 25 a day.
19.
That was yesterday, right? 19?
Yeah.
And then, but if we were able to go with the speaker's plan on this, they'd be testing 450 a day. And then we'd have a better idea of what we're up against, so that the senators can make good public policy.
And Talina Nelson and Amanda Shelton are right when they say, and the speaker when they say, this is an invisible war. You're damn right, because we're not testing people. So it is invisible because the governor is making it that way.
It's as invisible as her fiscal policy.
Yeah, her physical policy.
Can we, so before the legislature goes on, and Chelu, can you monitor from your end on YouTube?
Hi.
Thank you so much. Go ahead and capture my screen. Submarine Squadron 15, which is part of the whole USS Theodore Roosevelt, their people are the ones and the rest of the USS Theodore Roosevelt who are not COVID-19 positive. Most of them are spread throughout hotels from Oka Point all the way to Gun Beach. So Sheraton, Hilton, I think Outrigger, Dusit. I don't know where, Hyatt, I've seen pictures. I don't know where they're all at, but they're just all throughout the hotels. And they asked for safe harbor when their whole coronavirus situation became a crisis. And so safe harbor they got in the hotels of Guam.
Mm-hmm.
And normally the military is not very forthcoming with information, but Commander Submarine Squadron 15, that's their Facebook page, they have been tagging Kandit News in the videos and photos that they're putting out about what's happening in the hotels and how basically they're going out of their way to assure the people of Guam that they are doing what needs to be done to keep themselves safe and to keep all of us safe.
Right.
And it was just so refreshing. I wanted you guys to see this video. It's a 4-minute video from this group, and let's just play it now.
I'm Commander Sean Welch, Deputy Commander for Material Readiness, Submarine Squadron 15. Our squadron is one of several on island responsible for assisting the sailors of the USS Theodore Roosevelt with aggressive mitigation actions to combat COVID-19. We're making sure that our shipmates are provided for by delivering meals and maintaining sanitation. We're working to flatten the curve, protect our shipmates, and maintain the Navy mission ready.
Good afternoon. I'm Master Chief Jason Hayes, Engineering Department Master Chief for Squadron 15. I'm here to talk to you today about the support that we give for food service to the sailors of the Theodore Roosevelt while here in Guam. We're going to talk about the PPE we wear, the food service preparation that we provide, and the subsequent cleanup that we have at the end of every meal. The first thing we're going to do is don our masks, our facial PPE. We wear this PPE the entire time that we are inside the hotel and around handling any of the food service. The next thing we're going to do is go don our gloves, so let's go get to it. Now that we're outside the restroom, we're going to wash our hands so that we don't pass any of the germs on to any of the other sailors. All right, so now that our hands are washed, we're going to put the last layer of PPE on, which is the rubber gloves. We're going to put those rubber gloves on. We're going to wear those throughout the entire revolution, all the way to the end, where we eventually doff up and wash our hands again.
This is pretty educational, you know?
Yeah.
We don't see our local government.
All right, now we're ready to go serve some sailors. At the loading area here at the hotel where we feed roughly 180 sailors off the Theodore Roosevelt. Behind me is the food that we have already prepped up, ready to go. That food is loaded in this area and then set aside that we're going to deliver each one of the rooms. For each one of the meals that we're going to provide today, they get a fruit cup, they have a salad that's kind of right here that they got set up, and then they have chicken, potatoes, green beans, and carrots for today. Okay, now we're going to have some of the sailors that actually help in this delivery process come in and actually get set up and start delivering meals to the residents.
Look at Issa following Johnny.
So here we're counting out each one of these trays right here, so for the salads and the fruits, and we separate all those out from each one of the floors for each one of these sailors. Once those are counted out, they're divvied up, they're delivered to each one of the doors and placed outside the door. Once all the food items have been delivered, we knock on the doors and we have a pregnant pause afterwards before they actually open the door and take their food. That way there's no direct contact between our sailors and the sailors that are in the room. So now that we've given them all the food items, we're going to knock on each one of these doors to let them know that lunch is ready. Lunch. 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 So now that we've completed all the food to each one of the rooms, we need to disinfect all the areas that we touch so we don't bring any of those germs or anything to other parts of the hotel. So now that our lunch process is complete and we've delivered all the food, the last thing we have to do is take off our gloves. So we're going to take off our gloves, trying to prevent us from actually contaminating anything else further. We have it in this trash can, and then we're going to go in here. We're actually going to wash our hands for at least 20 seconds. And then this afternoon, all lunch preparations are complete. We'll come back for dinner tonight.
Isn't that cool? So, Submarine Squadron 15, these submarines, these are nuclear attack submarines, which means that the people on these submarines have like nuclear engineering, nuclear physicist degrees. These are very smart people who made a very like fundamental, common sense, down to earth video. And it wasn't for their own assurance that they made this video. They made this video for the people of Guam to understand that they are taking this very seriously, and their commitment to not spreading this virus outside of the USS Theodore Roosevelt is that strong that they took this time to show us what they do, the steps that they take, which is very regimented and just so simple. And my thoughts on it were, man, I really wish our government of Guam would take the opportunity to do something like this.
No, they're too busy. Even with this, if the governor is mad about or matapeng about Governor Ralph Torres ordering and he knew and she didn't know and now she's reacting, right?
Again.
Whose fault is it? It's her team's fault. If I was the governor, I'd be like, how did they do that and you people don't know that?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't. It's not. It's her team.
Mm-hmm.
She really needs to change them out.
Word, sister, word.
I would so be pissed.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, if and I don't enjoy talking about Eddie Calvo being a good governor, but honestly, if this were the Eddie Calvo administration, if I were in it, if I was the one responsible for the Joint Information Center, I would have been fired a long time ago. I would have been fired when the first mistake was done, was made weeks ago. And this just would not be something that the Calvo administration would have tolerated. So, I mean, it doesn't take rocket science to do stuff like this. The rocket scientists on the nuclear attack submarines did something so simple, and really our heartfelt gratitude to them, because we know that they didn't do this so that the military can see that they're doing it. They did it so that they could show the people of Guam that this is how much care that they have for the safety and security of the civilian public. So anyway.
Brian Ortega says, Troy, these sailors from Submarine Squadron 15 live on Guam and love the island.
Yes, and they are feeding the people who are have sought safe harbor in our hotels. Those from the USS Theodore Roosevelt. Can you be reading the comments while I need to find something?
Okay. I will be making more manhatatitas. I'm just lazy, but yes, I will get you some. Michael San Juan. Now we may will get some clear topics, answers from all the confusion. You know, Kandit really tries to get the information and give it to you the way it's supposed to be given to you. So Troy really tries his best. And yeah, Troy and the team really tries hard to get the information out. 55,000 here on Saipan. Tony Uggan says 120,000. The military is testing themselves. Sandra Rages tests everyone who goes in instead of turning them away. Yeah, but there's just not enough test kits, Sandra. All the fishing right in front of the roadblock. I don't know what that is.
Oh, neither do I.
Probably talking East Asia.
Patsy Bias says our island is blessed. Yes, we are. Very blessed. USA paid $8.2 million for 750,000 test kits. Test kits is only $10.93. Frank Cruz, Eric asked Johnny and Troy, what checks are they distributing? Oh wait, I lost it. Or mailing out tomorrow. Frank, we don't know. We don't know what they're doing because they say one thing and then they say another. So in all honesty, I don't know. How about you, Troy?
Well, the governor said that this is part of her local plan to pay federal money and to float local dollars to advance federal cash assistance paychecks to those who have an income of $10,000 or less. That's the $1,200 per adult, $500 per child. It's just unclear how she's doing that and whether it's legal, because if she's tapping into a pot of money and the legislature hasn't authorized her to use that pot of money, then clearly that's illegal. She can't do that. But I think, and I'm going to bet, that what the governor has done is issued a line of credit through the Bank of Guam, which is legal for her to do. The legislature years ago gave the governor the power to float a line of credit in order to pay for operations. And if that's the case, then of course it raises questions about a conflict of interest, because for as long as that debt is not paid back to Bank of Guam will accrue interest every day. And so it's just not clear what pot of money that the governor is using, whether it's legal, and if it is legal, whether a conflict of interest exists. But probably more importantly, what's unclear is the steps that are being taken to get the federal money to Guam faster. And so we asked Chirag Vajwani with the Speaker's office, because they got a note from Daphne Shimazu. Actually, I can read it. The Speaker asked Daphne Shimazu, the Director of Revenue and Taxation, hey, you know, IRS.gov has this system in place for those in the states to, if they're non-filers, how can they avail of the direct cash assistance if they did make income in either 2018 or 2019? Is this a system that the government of Guam can use? Mm-hmm. And Daphne Shimazu wrote back to Tina Munya Barnes and said, thank you to you and your colleagues, blah, blah, blah. It is in partnership, blah, blah, blah. Rev and Tax recognizes the dire needs of our people, and our team has been working to ensure that we review the requirements of the CARES Act and provide guidance as appropriate. In line with this, our agency has been working on the development of a form for Guam non-filers. This is something which we expect to launch within the week, so by tomorrow. Once the form is launched, we will ensure that it is available to our people and will provide a copy to your office for distribution as needed. So we asked Chirag, because just yesterday we tested this whole non-filer thing, right, on IRS.gov. And there are a bunch of people who have already submitted their non-filer status through IRS.gov. We asked the Speaker's office today whether they can check with Rev and Tax if that information that's being filed with IRS.gov is going to translate over to Department of Revenue and Taxation. Mm-hmm. And Rev and Tax responded to the Speaker's office, no, it won't. So don't bother with the IRS.gov non-filer form. What the Department of Revenue and Taxation is going to do is release a local form that, and that's where they're going to capture that data. But
so as soon as we get that form, you know, Kandit will put it out.
Yeah. As to when the money is going to come, that's a whole different story. As for the pandemic, unemployment, insurance, basically the weekly checks.
Your company, if you still talk to your boss, please remind them they need to go to hireguam.com and register there.
Last I heard was it's going to take 3 to 4 weeks or something like that. And then, of course, there are questions about who qualifies for that and all that stuff. You can
just
find that
try.
information.
If you are guessing or you're wondering if you qualify, just do it, guys. It doesn't hurt.
Can you read this to them? So while I'm going through this, how are we with the legislature in session?
Still nothing.
Are you refreshing or like
I'm
exiting out?
like every 5 seconds.
Okay.
This is a letter from Dr. Tina, the speaker, to Michael Cruz. You want me to read this? This one?
that letter. Except for all their thank yous and all that stuff.
Afide, thank you. Overcome our nation. Yeah. I would like to point out. Okay. I would like to point out that based on guidelines issued by the United States Food and Drug Administration in their guidance issue on March 16, 2020, Policy for Diagnostic Tests for Coronavirus Disease 2019 during the public health emergency, it states the following. A state or territory choosing to authorize laboratories within the state or territory to develop and perform tests for COVID-19 would do so under authority of its own state law and under a process that it establishes. FDA does not intend to object to the use of such tests for specimen testing where the notification of SARS-CoV-2 test validation is not submitted to FDA and the laboratory does not submit an EUA request to FDA, and where instead the state or territory takes responsibility for COVID-19 testing by laboratories in its state during the COVID-19 outbreak. With that being said, I recommend that we explore other alternatives to waiting on the Abbott test kits. States around the country are facing the same predicament as Guam. They have the state-of-the-art Abbott ID Now machines. They do not, however, have the test kits. In fact, a couple days ago, an article was published stating that some state governors are fuming that rapid coronavirus testing machines they were given are sitting idle because they weren't given enough supplies to use them. Right now, given that every state around the nation is struggling to acquire test kits for this specific machine, there seems to be a shortage of kits. At the current rate, in a recent statement from the company, Abbott intends to ramp up manufacturing to deliver 50,000 tests per day. Given that our entire nation is scrambling to get these test kits, and while I'm appreciative of FEMA's commitment of 200 test kits a week, it will take some time before we get enough test kits to test our entire population. Per FDA, blah, blah, blah. While you acknowledge that other states have been desperate to adopt protocols that deviate from the standard of care, states like Maryland, Mississippi, Washington have already invoked this provision. Some of these states, such as New York, 14,000 deaths, and Washington, 500 deaths, are only exploring these options after the onset of a crisis that is unmanageable. For this reason, I strongly implore you to be proactive before we reach the breaking point of our local healthcare capacity. Legislature's live now. You have to go.
So that's a booyah from the speaker. Check yourself before you wreck the rest of us.
Mm-hmm.
Boom shakalaka.
Clerk, bill number 336-35COR. Please read the title.
They're in the voting file
Bill
now.
number 336-35COR as substituted and amended on the floor. Introduced by Therese M. Terlahi, Sabina Flores Perez, Luis B. Munya, Joe S. San Agustin, Tina Rose Munya Barnes, Telo T. Taitagui, Talina Cruz Nelson, Jose Pedro Terlahi, Kelly Marsh Titano, PhD, William M. Castro, Regine Bisco Lee, James C. Moylan, Mary Camacho Torres, Clinton E. Rigel, Amanda L. Shelton. An act to add a new subsection D to section 19804 of Article 8, Chapter 19, Title 10, Guam Code annotated relative to directing the expedited procurement of critical medical supplies to save lives on Guam during the COVID-19 pandemic. Madam Clerk, roll call. Senator Castro. Senator Castro, aye. Senator Lee. Senator Lee, aye. Senator Marsh Titano. Senator Marsh Titano, aye. Senator Moylan. Senator Moylan, aye. Senator Munya. Senator Munya, aye. Speaker Munya Barnes. Hungen. Speaker Munya Barnes, aye. Vice Speaker Nelson. Hungen. Vice Speaker Nelson, aye. Senator Perez.
Again.
Senator Perez, aye. Senator Rangel.
Aye.
Senator Rangel, aye. Senator San Augustine.
Again.
Senator San Augustine, aye. Senator Shelton. Senator Shelton, aye. Senator Titagui.
Again.
Senator Titagui, aye. Senator Pito Terlahi. Senator Pito Terlahi, aye. Senator Therese Terlahi. Senator Therese Terlahi, aye. Senator Torres. Senator Torres, aye.
What bill is this?
336.
What does it do?
Let me open it.
It was unanimous.
Bill number 336-35 COR received 15 ayes, 0 nays. Bill number 336-35 COR is duly passed by this body.
I think that's a Therese Terlahi bill.
Bill number 332-35 COR. Clerks,
That was
please read
an
the
act
title.
to direct expedited
Bill number
procurement of critical medical supplies.
332-35 COR as substituted and amended on the floor. Introduced by Talina
Service
Cruz
learning.
Nelson,
Service
Amanda L.
learning.
Shelton, Joe S. San Augustine, Therese M. Terlahi, Regine Bisco Lee, Kelly Marsh Titano, PhD, Tina Rose Munoz Barnes, Sabina Flores Perez, Jose Pito Terlahi, Mary Camacho Torres, William M. Castro, James C. Moylan, Luis B. Munoz, Tello T. Titagui. An act to add a new section 4124B1 to Chapter 4 of Title 17 Guam Code Annotated,
That's the
relative to
education
creating an exemption from the service learning graduation requirement for all high school students enrolled during the year 2019-2020. Madam Clerk, roll call, please. Senator Castro. Senator Castro, aye. Senator Lee.
Again.
Senator Lee, aye. Senator Marsh Titano. Senator Marsh Titano, aye. Senator Moylan. Senator Moylan, aye. Senator Munoz. Senator Munoz, aye. Speaker Munoz Barnes. Speaker Munoz Barnes, aye. Vice Speaker Nelson.
Again.
Vice Speaker Nelson, aye. Senator Perez.
Again.
Senator Perez, aye. Senator Rangel.
Aye.
Senator Rangel, aye. Senator San Augustine.
Again.
Senator San Augustine, aye. Senator Shelton. Senator Shelton, aye. Senator Titagui.
Again.
Senator Titagui, aye. Senator Pito Terlahi. Senator Pito Terlahi, aye. Senator Therese Terlahi. Senator Therese Terlahi, aye. Senator Torres. Senator Torres, aye.
So Bill 336 was emergency procurement authority for like medical supplies, PPE, stuff like that.
Bill number 332-35 COR received 15 ayes, 0 nays. Bill number 332-35 COR is duly passed by this body.
That was the service learning one. I think the next one will probably be the instructional hours.
339-35 COR. Clerks,
339.
please read the title. Bill number 339-35
Exemption from
COR
school.
as amended on the floor. Introduced by Talina C. Cruz Nelson, Amanda L. Shelton, Kelly Marsh Titano, PhD, Regine Bisco Lee, Joe S. San Augustine, Tina Rose Munoz Barnes, William M. Castro, James C. Moylan, Luis B. Munoz, Sabina Perez, Flores Perez, Clinton E. Rangel, Tello T. Titagui, Jose Pito Terlahi, Therese M. Terlahi, Mary Camacho Torres. An act to amend Section 715L13 of Chapter 7, Title 1, Guam Code Annotated, relative to exempting Guam Public Schools from the requirement of 180 instructional days or its equivalent of 900 instructional hours pursuant to Public Law 3577 for school year 2019-2020.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Senator Castro. Senator Castro, aye. Senator Lee.
Again.
Senator Lee, aye. Senator Marsh-Titano. Senator Marsh-Titano, aye. Senator Moylan. Senator Moylan, aye. Senator Munya. Senator Munya, aye. Speaker Munya Barnes.
Again.
Speaker Munya Barnes, aye. Vice Speaker Nelson.
Again.
Vice Speaker Nelson, aye. Senator Perez.
Again.
Senator Perez, aye. Senator Ragel.
Aye.
Senator Ragel, aye. Senator San Agustin.
Again.
Senator San Agustin, aye. Senator Shelton. Senator Shelton, aye. Senator Titagui.
Again.
Senator Titagui, aye. Senator Pito Terlahi. Senator Pito Terlahi, aye. Senator Therese Terlahi. Senator Therese Terlahi, aye. Senator Torres. Senator Torres, aye.
Can you imagine how long that took when they had 21 members?
Colleagues, bill number 339-35 COR received 15 ayes, 0 nays. Bill number 339-35 COR is duly passed by this body. Bill number 333-35 COR.
This is the most important
Clerk,
one.
please read the title.
Bill number 333-35 COR, as substituted and amended on the floor. Introduced by Therese M. Terlahi, Sabina Flores Perez, James C. Moylan, Talina Cruz Nelson, Joe S. San Agustin, Mary Camacho Torres, William M. Castro, Regine Bisco Lee, Kelly Marsh Titano, PhD, Luis B. Munya, Tina Rose Munya Barnes,
Johnny Rosario,
Clinton E. Ragel,
HBIC.
Amanda L. Shelton, Tello T. Titagui, Jose Pito Terlahi. An act relative to the rapid and transparent implementation of federal and local assistance programs related to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Senator Castro. Senator Castro, aye. Senator Lee.
Again.
Senator Lee, aye. Senator Marsh-Titano. Senator Marsh-Titano, aye. Senator Moylan. Senator Moylan, aye. Senator Munya. Senator Munya, aye. Speaker Munya Barnes. Speaker Munya Barnes, aye. Vice Speaker Nelson.
Again.
Vice Speaker Nelson, aye. Senator Perez.
Again.
Senator Perez, aye. Senator Ragel.
Aye.
Senator Ragel, aye. Senator San Agustin.
Again.
Senator San Agustin, aye. Senator Shelton. Senator Shelton, aye. Senator Titagui.
Again.
Senator Titagui, aye. Senator Pito Terlahi. Senator Pito Terlahi, aye. Senator Therese Terlahi. Senator Therese Terlahi, aye. Senator Torres. Senator Torres, aye.
So I think the next one is the Dictator Act 2. I'm not sure, but I think it's the next one.
Bill number
333.
333-35 COR received 15 ayes, 0 nays. Bill number 333-35 COR is duly passed by this body.
Good. Yes, Ray Gibson, you got my vote too.
Bill number 324-35 COR. Clerk, please read the title.
Bill number 324-35 COR as amended on the floor. Introduced by Mary Camacho Torres, Regine Bisco Lee, William M. Castro, Kelly Marsh Titano, PhD, James C. Moylan, Luis B. Munoz, Tina Rose Munoz Barnes, Talina Cruz Nelson, Sabina Flores Perez, Clinton E. Rigel, Joe S. San Augustine, Amanda L. Shelton, Tello T. Tidegui, Jose Pito Terlahi, Therese M. Terlahi. An act to suspend the 2% general fund deposit into the rainy day fund requirement as mandated by 5 GCA section 22904 for fiscal year 2020.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Senator Castro. Senator Castro, aye. Senator Lee.
Again.
Senator Lee, aye. Senator Marsh Titano. Senator Marsh Titano, aye. Senator Moylan. Senator Moylan, aye. Senator Munoz. Senator Munoz, aye. Speaker Munoz Barnes.
Okay.
Speaker Munoz Barnes, aye. Vice Speaker Nelson.
Again.
Vice Speaker Nelson, aye. Senator Perez.
Again.
Senator Perez, aye. Senator Rigel.
Aye.
Senator Rigel, aye. Senator San Augustine.
Again.
Senator San Augustine, aye. Senator Shelton. Senator Shelton, aye. Senator Tidegui.
Again.
Senator Tidegui, aye. Senator Pito Terlahi. Senator Pito Terlahi, aye. Senator Therese Terlahi. Senator Therese Terlahi, aye. Senator Torres. Senator Torres, aye.
Suspending the 2%.
Bill number 324-35 COR received 15 ayes, 0 nays. Bill number 324-35 COR is duly passed by this body.
This August body.
Bill number 326-35 COR.
Jeez, a lot of
Clerk,
bills.
please read the title.
Bill number 326-35 COR as substituted
paid.
and amended on the floor.
Oh, yeah, this one's important.
You're recognized, Senator Lee.
I apologize, Madam Speaker. I just wanted to make a motion to be excused from voting on this measure, Madam Speaker. I made a previous motion when we were discussing it, and I'd like to also extend that motion to be excused from voting on this measure as my husband is a firefighter who will benefit from this bill.
On that motion to excuse Senator Lee, are there any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, roll call.
No, read the bill.
Oh. Madam Clerk, please read the title.
Bill number 326-35 COR as substituted and amended on the floor. Introduced by Talina Cruz Nelson, Amanda L. Shelton, Joe S. San Augustine, Jose Pito Terlahi, William M. Castro, Kelly Marsh Titano, PhD, Tello T. Tidegui, James C. Moylan, Luis B. Munoz, Therese M. Terlahi, Tina Rose Munoz Barnes. An act to add a new section 32120.1 to Chapter 32 of Title 10 Guam Code Annotated, relative to specifying a COVID-19 hazardous pay differential in light of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Senator Castro. Senator Castro, aye. Senator Lee. Senator Lee, excuse. Senator Marsh Titano. Senator Marsh Titano, aye. Senator Moylan. Senator Moylan, aye. Senator Munoz. Senator Munoz, aye. Speaker Munoz Barnes.
Okay.
Speaker Munoz Barnes, aye. Vice Speaker Nelson.
Again.
Vice Speaker Nelson, aye. Senator Perez.
Again.
Senator Perez, aye. Senator Rigel.
Aye.
Senator Rangel, aye. Senator San Augustine.
Again.
Senator San Augustine, aye. Senator Shelton. Senator Shelton, aye. Senator Tydegui.
Again.
Senator Tydegui, aye. Senator Pito Terlahi. Senator Pito Terlahi, aye. Senator Therese Terlahi. Senator Therese Terlahi, aye. Senator Torres. Senator Torres, aye.
There you go, hazard pay.
Yes, one excused.
Bill number 326-35 received 14 ayes, 0 nays, and 1 excuse. Bill number 326-35 COR is duly passed by this body. Bill number 335-35 COR. Clerk, please read the title.
Bill number 335-35 COR as substituted and amended on the floor. Introduced by Amanda L. Shelton, Talina Cruz Nelson, Tina Rose Munoz Barnes. An act to amend section 19403A and to add a new item 6 to section 19403B, both of Article 4, Chapter 19, Title 10, Guam Code Annotated, relative to the emergency powers of the governor and the public health authority during the COVID-19 public health emergency.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Senator Castro. Senator Castro, nay. Senator Lee.
Ahi.
Senator Lee, nay. Senator Marsh Titano. Senator Marsh Titano, pass. Senator Moylan. Senator Moylan, nay. Senator Munoz. Senator Munoz, nay. Speaker Munoz Barnes.
Again.
Speaker Munoz Barnes, aye. Vice Speaker Nelson.
Again.
Vice Speaker Nelson, aye. Senator Perez.
Pass.
Senator Perez, pass. Senator Rangel.
Nay.
Senator Rangel, nay. Senator San Augustine.
Mungo.
Senator San Augustine, nay. Senator Shelton. Senator Shelton, aye. Senator Tydegui.
Nay.
Senator Tydegui, nay. Senator Pito Terlahi. Senator Pito Terlahi, nay.
There, it
Senator
failed.
Therese Terlahi. Senator Therese Terlahi, nay. Pass. Senator Torres.
Ahi.
No.
Senator Torres, nay.
Why would they pass?
If they pass 3 times, it's counted as a no. But I guess to buy time to figure out how they're gonna vote.
Senator Marsh Titano. Senator Marsh Titano, nay.
10 nays so far.
Senator Perez.
Ahi.
Senator Perez, nay.
11 no's so far.
Senator Therese Terlahi. Senator Therese Terlahi, nay.
12 no's, 3 yeses, just the sponsors of the bill. So the Dictator Act fails. And as Cousin Ray Gibson says, freedom wins.
Freedom ring.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bill number 335-35 COR received 3 ayes, 12 nays. Bill number 335-35 COR has been failed by this body.
the August body.
Biba Guam says Nazi regime fail. Gina Call says thank you,
Colleagues, we are
Kelly.
now on brief extension of remarks. Is there anyone wishes to give extension of remarks?
Oh,
Brief
this could get dramatic.
extension of remarks. If not,
Oh,
Several hands went up.
I will go ahead and start. As I saw the hands go up, Senator
Quick, down
Terlahi,
quickly.
Senator Perez, and then Secretary, and then Minority. Senator Therese Terlahi, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just would like to extend my thanks to my colleagues and to everyone, the Committee on Rules, the legislative staff for having overcome our hurdles to have this session and for being here in this challenging time. I want to thank you, of course, for your support of the bills 333 and 336 and for the discussion that we have had. I think it's been very helpful, Madam Speaker. My heartfelt gratitude to the people of Guam for really an overwhelming engagement in this process. I have a lot of faith in people's participation, that it's always going to make us better. And I hope that we will continue to hear from everyone in our community, and that's how we are going to get through this, and that's how we are going to find the best solutions as we move forward. I have great hope that the extraordinary measures guided by our public health agencies and our medical professionals who've been selected by the governor have paved the way to flatten the curve so we can embark on our path to recovery. We see some glimmers of hope, and yet it is not the time now to take a step backwards. It is a time to move forward, to keep the measures that we have in place until we are ready to allow our health community to continue to build capacity, to allow our public health agencies to determine the way forward that will continue to keep us safe. It is a time that we keep the measures that we have in place and we allow authorities of all the branches to help the government during this crisis. When we define our path forward, we must provide answers that our community is seeking. These answers must be backed by science and guided by the law. They must be clearly communicated and understood by the agencies, the businesses, and individual stakeholders on this island. I cannot stress that enough. I think the communication is really going to be the key. There's abundant evidence and strong guidance from leading health organizations that the way forward to beat this virus is mass testing, consistent and open communications, strong education, and shoring up our fragile medical infrastructure. In doing, the bills that we have passed today do exactly that, Madam Speaker. They put increased compensation in the hands of our frontliners, especially our nurses, who are very precious because not only are they on the front lines on a very daily basis, but because there are so precious few of them, Madam Speaker. So I want to thank all of them, all of those who are continuing to work during this time and putting yourselves out at risk, private and public employees. I want to encourage the government to continue to actually increase in transparency through the bills that we've passed, and that is how we are going to get the cooperation of the community, Madam Speaker. That is how we're going to get supplies that are desperately needed, and that's how we're going to get food to people who have been off of work. That's how we're going to get our businesses to rebuild, Madam Speaker. So I hope that the passage of Bill 336 and 333 and the other bills that we have passed today are going to provide the administration the tools to fight this virus and provide a little bit more confidence in our community. I just would like to close, Madam Speaker, by saying that we, the people of Guam, we cannot allow any disease or person or philosophy to divide our island right now when we need to be united to combat this. We must use truth and transparency to dispel doubt about the government and restore a partnership worthy of the people's trust and of their swift cooperation. So I want to again thank all the people of Guam for their cooperation during these times, for putting up with severe hardships in many cases, Madam Speaker. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank them and let them know that we are not going to give up. Please don't give up. We are going to continue to work together, Madam Speaker. Situus Maasi.
When Bugetsu, Senator Therese Taitagui. Senator Sabina Parrish, you are recognized.
Therese Taitagui, she
Madam
said.
Speaker. I'd like to reiterate the sentiments of the retiring speaker. I think, like many in our community, we are deeply concerned by this deadly potential novel coronavirus threatening our island today. And I believe the proper response to this pandemic will challenge our norms, and our actions during this session have far-reaching consequences. A week and a half ago, Dr. Cabrera provided us a thorough breakdown of the possible scenarios of this pandemic. If we did nothing, we would be experiencing, the worst case scenario would be up to 20,000 deaths. And because our government took action, we were able to reduce that down to 3,000 deaths. Of course, 3,000 deaths is way too many. So, Madam Speaker, our governor and medical community are calling upon us to make every effort to further flatten the curve. We've attempted public outreach and education, and we've seen the noticeable decrease in movement around our island. And I believe, like many of our colleagues, that more can be done. We must protect the lives of our healthcare workers, our first responders, and those vulnerable to this very deadly disease, especially to our Manamco and those experiencing comorbidities. But we also must protect civil liberties. If exceptional powers are afforded to the governor during a state of emergency, we must ensure that all avenues have been exhausted and such powers are enforceable, reasonable, necessary, and that we institute safeguards to ensure transparency. And I truly believe transparency is the road that we need to follow. I just would like to make a statement regarding my vote on 335, because I voted against it because it is not a power that was explicitly requested by the governor. And more importantly, there's no enforcement mechanism. And if we proffer powers without a means of enforcement, we create a false sense of security that would spark greater confusion. However, I urge continued push to educate the public and support our healthcare workers and frontline responders. I'd just like to share a quote from the Dalai Lama. No matter how difficult the situation may be, we should employ science and human ingenuity with determination and courage to overcome the problems that confront us.
You passed.
Faced with threats to our health and well-being, it is natural to feel anxiety and fear. Nevertheless, I take great solace in the following wise advice: to examine the problems before us. If there is something that can be done, do it without any need to worry. If there's nothing, worrying will not help. Madam Speaker, we are a generous and community-oriented people. Following natural disasters, we always come together to help those in need. And I see the same spirit and purpose in this session. I thank my colleagues on our island for sharing the same goals: to unite, to protect our values, and to protect each and every life in our community. Together, we will fight this pandemic. and we must do all we can to protect lives in our community. This was Masi.
Thank you, Sabina
Buen vessel,
Camacho.
Senator Paris. Minority Leader, you are recognized on your extension of remarks.
Senator Lysol Taibi.
Sijus Masi, Madam Speaker, and for the opportunity to share brief remarks as we conclude this emergency session. Madam Speaker, COVID-19 continued to change the way our lives have been. We cannot and should not allow certain laws, individual rights, and the freedoms we have in enjoying democracy to be set aside. I have and continue to listen to many families from across our community who are doing their part, following the guidelines of the government, practicing social distancing, minimizing movement only for grocery shopping, picking up for free school lunches, and refilling their prescriptions. These same families have told me that following the government's guidelines doesn't mean the government should consider making Guam a military state or anything close to it. Madam Speaker, with the exception of a few cases we've heard through the media, our people are taking COVID-19 seriously and are praying this is all over sooner than later, as paychecks have ended or have been significantly reduced due to this crisis. Going forward, Madam Speaker, I urge the people to stay home, stay safe. And if you happen to be outside buying essentials and you see another person without a mask, offer them one of yours if you have an extra one. Because they have run out of, because of that, they may have run out of money and have no means to buy anything else other than food.
So let's do emergency session and get it together,
Madam Speaker,
people.
while COVID-19 may forever change normal, as we all know it to be, this crisis continues to show me with each new day powerful examples of kindness, generosity, and faith in one another.
She is hitting the drama chord a little much.
There, she's done. Thank you. Tello Tanatango.
Minority Leader. Anyone else wishing to do extension of remarks? Kelly March Taitino, you are recognized.
Kelly March Taitino,
Madam
PhD.
Speaker. Each session, there has been at least one bill.
Where's your hat?
That has caused me to dig deep and think through issues as fully as I can to come to a decision for the greater good. This session has, in numerous ways, been the most challenging in that regard. I have had many a sleepless night.
Because your barbecue.
Very lives, the health, and well-being of our community are at stake. As a person, as a mother and grandmother, and here in this body, I take our community issues to heart. This can be made all the more difficult as happens so often, as was the case in this session, where numerous people reach out with polar opposite desires regarding whether a bill passes or not. Out of the 168,000 of us, we have 135 known number of coronavirus cases, in addition to an unknown number. We are fortunate to have over 70 thus far who have recovered. At the same time, we mourn for the community members that we have lost, and for the sailor who passed away as well.
Oh, really? You care now?
They were taken too early from us.
She didn't care when they were praying for him.
I did not immediately hear the call for a moment of silence yesterday.
Oh, there. She's saying
So I
sorry.
especially want to send prayers for the sailor, for our community members, and for all COVID-19 victims throughout the world.
You better
and all
stand
of
up,
their
Kelly.
families and friends,
Stand
as
up.
they contend with the grief of their losses, and for all of us as we struggle through this crisis. Let us continue to keep in good communication with each other. Let us
You better
continue
start
to
listening
uphold
then.
high standards of collegiality. Let us work together across the sectors, across the government branches, and across all divides for the good of our community as we fight his invisible enemy.
Brad Hewitt.
I want to make her.
I really feel sorry for
I
her,
don't.
actually.
I want to make her oxtail from the
Senator
fire.
Kent
You know when you
Rigel,
make a fire?
You are recognized on extension
Yeah.
of remarks.
I want to make that for her, make her eat it. She'll
Thank you,
never
Madam
want that
Speaker.
bill again.
I'd just like to, remind the public
Thanks,
to
Clint.
bear with us here as we work through a lot of these issues that are new, challenging, and difficult for us to weigh and for us to move upon and decide upon. In addition to that, I'd like to continue to encourage the public to stay the course that we're currently on. I want the public to know that we can't let up now. We have to continue with what we've been doing, which is, of course, the social distancing, the staying at home unless absolutely necessary to leave for essential items, and things of that nature. I think if we continue to stay this course, I do believe there is light at the end of the tunnel, but we can't leave the tunnel yet. We've got to get to that end. I think we can get there. So I urge the public to be patient with all of your leaders, because these are challenging times, and we are doing our best. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Senator Rigel. Anyone else wishing to speak? Vice Speaker Nelson, you are recognized. Oh, I do apologize. I will go ahead and entertain Senator Mary Torres and then Vice Speaker Nelson and then Secretary. Senator Torres, I apologize. You may proceed.
Por favor, thank you. Malagos na be pinutamoro para I mananata. Malagos na be zabe sangani hamzu na uhahasu hamzu za ugwaiza hamzu. So por favor ade na gafadahi ang ginhumudzang halgigi matmizu. Ispia familamos ang pintusi. Ispia ko todo man mauli gigi matnia. Sa put favor de oski I mensahin I magastad ani medico siha. Sa uhasu na kalan itempun gera esti. Lo ti pareo sa itempun gera sa telma mesti no. It's gonna be over soon. Telma pagong esti. Sa asangani tus na nahu na itempun gera kalan tietungo na kopo latla undia mas. Lo pago ungan sineta latla ang kinta oski mensahi. Saga gimat mizu so na gefadahi. Sa por favor visita ta na I pasensia ta necesita pago mas. Lo eno hapay songan, that we're all thinking about you. We love all of you, and the best thing that we can do is to please take utmost care when we leave our houses, look out for our families, make sure everybody is okay. But above all else, listen to the messages of our leaders and our medical doctors as well, and our medical physicians. Most of all, let's just all exercise paz and paciencia, peace and patience. Thank you.
Buen provecho, Senator Mary Torres. Vice Speaker Nelson, on extension of remarks, you are recognized.
Sitos Masi, Madam Speaker.
I voted
Madam
yes.
Speaker, I'd
because
just
my
like to
nose is brown.
thank my colleagues for their tremendous efforts and the work they have put in through this session. I'd like to thank the Committee on Rules for making it possible for us to have this session. Madam Speaker, I also want to thank the people of Guam during this time for sharing their thoughts. I've spoken to many of you on the phone in these past couple of days, and I thank you for reaching out to me and having valid and sharing your concerns, having valid discussions. Madam Speaker, I also want to thank our frontliners. I want to thank our doctors, our nurses, the support staff in the hospitals, our police officers, our National Guardsmen and women, our Customs and Quarantine officers, our DOC officers,
Don't leave
and all
anybody
of
out.
those that are putting forth the effort
to fighting off this virus. I'd like to thank the people of Guam for continuing to apply social distancing, acting in the best interest of all of us. And Madam Speaker, just so we know that if we can continue this social distancing, we can move forward. We still anticipate an impact in the upcoming months because of this virus. And I'd like to thank the community out there for their prayers and for supporting us in our actions here today.
I still like her despite her vote. But what I want to know is what's that green penis coming out of her microphone?
Legislative Secretary, you are recognized.
Situus Masi, Madam Speaker, and I'd also like to thank all of our colleagues, our support team here at the legislature for helping us make this emergency session possible. I came into this session with very clear focus to help our people suffering financially during this difficult time and to protect our people from the further spread of the coronavirus. I must say that I am disappointed in the outcome of today's vote on Bill 335. But as I shared yesterday, I will continue to push on and hope that this body will join me in continuing the fight and unite to protect our people. Even if implementing a curfew, like they have in New Jersey, New Mexico, Hawaii, and other jurisdictions, or mandating a shelter-in-place order helped to save just one life, I know that it would have been worth it. And yes, I am disappointed, but not defeated. And I can leave this hall today knowing that I did everything within my power to further protect our people from this disease. Madam Speaker, today I want to shift focus from our attempts here to increase social distancing measures to other proven interventions practiced in different jurisdictions, such as widespread community tracing and tracking and rapid testing, because we know this is a public health issue, and as we all know, this is also an economic issue. It is imperative that we act boldly, decisively, and with confidence. It is imperative that we balance the health and economic components of this crisis in our decision-making. Here is what Dr. Anthony Fauci says about opening back up communities like ours, for having people leave their homes and return to some semblance of normal. If you start pulling back on mitigation and physical separation, there will be infections. The real proof of the pudding of the success of re-entry is how quickly and how effectively you identify infections, get them out of circulation, get them care where needed, and do contact tracing so that you don't have the beginning of a new peak. Madam Speaker, regardless of whether or when we're ready to reopen our island, it is clear that we need to up our game on testing. We can look just a couple hours over to South Korea and see that they have made strides with rapid testing and have generously shared this resource with so many across the globe. If these tests have been effective in flattening the curve in South Korea and are good enough for our neighbors, then why aren't they good enough for us? Imagine if we could begin testing everyone who has come in contact with an infected person, every doctor or nurse who has been exposed, every person who has traveled, every person who exhibits symptoms, even without the FDA seal of approval on these tests. A positive in 5 minutes can mean that we immediately have a person under investigation who can then be tested with an FDA-approved test kit. Tell me, Madam Speaker, is it better to test and have some kind of peace of mind or no test at all? We can commend our neighbors to the north in the CNMI who have successfully secured 60,000 test kits, essentially allowing themselves to test everyone in their entire population. In contrast, we on Guam have tested under 1,000 people with no solid dates or plans for us to receive more test kits. We also have the opportunity to procure these same test kits from South Korea and test more of our people to stop the spread.
Agreed.
If we continue on this rate of about 30 to 35 tests a day, it will take us more than 10 years to test everyone. Today, we heard from the State Surgeon Advisory Council that without rapid, widespread testing, we need to act as if everyone is infected. Instead of 30 tests a day, there need to be 300 tests or 3,000 tests. Right now, no amount of testing is too small. No time frame for getting it done is too short. And this includes kits that may not be FDA approved, but have already proven their value in other hard-hit countries, where large-scale testing has been underway for weeks and months. It is clear that we cannot rely solely on the federal government to provide us with all the test kits we need. We've learned over the last few days that test kits from South Korea are being ordered for use in the United States. From a Wall Street Journal article, South Korea's Solent has secured an order to supply the US government agency with an additional 7,500 kits, which can each perform 100 coronavirus tests. The CEO says they are in talks for a long-term contract with FEMA about building a factory in the United States to manufacture these testing kits. Again, if a non-FDA approved test comes back positive, that person can be referred for a second test, one that is approved by the FDA. Would this not at the very least allow us to get a quicker and better handle on the number of people who need to monitor their own health and be aware of the onset of recognized symptoms? Testing, along with continued mitigation efforts that focus on basics such as hand washing and public social distancing, will go a long way toward improving the health and welfare of our island and our people. Secondly, Madam Speaker, we have to look at this as an economic issue. None of us are staying home because we want to. Nobody wants to see this shutdown last a minute longer than it has to. Who among us is not tempted to think, daily testing reports show the number of positives are much lower than 2 or 3 weeks ago. Let's get out there, let's return to normal. But if there is one thing we know, it is that public health and economic experts agree that recovery will have to be incremental. It will happen in steps and not all at once. Madam Speaker, we have a goal to reopen Guam on May 5th. And we need to know that our efforts are truly slowing down the spread of this disease and whether or not this is the safest route for us to take. But if we fail on step 1 and we go out and it is a false start, the economic pain that we are already experiencing will become even worse.
Like it is
We
now.
cannot take the next step. We cannot begin our economic recovery on hope and desire.
You know, all of these
I
speeches
ask
are
you, Madam
good,
Speaker,
right?
and our colleagues,
But they still didn't
are
do
you
anything
ready
to get the
accept
money
an
into
all
people's
clear
pockets now.
Based on what little testing we have amassed so far? Our federal government and numerous European countries, such as the United Kingdom and Germany, have ordered these test kits from South Korea.
Tell that
and
to
the
your
CNMI has done
Lulu
so
Bell
as well.
Nye.
So today I am asking if it is what our government should do too. Are
yeah.
we willing to risk a false start and the possibility of a second wave of virus that could have been prevented if not for the lack of patience and data?
Let's chase a brief
But
extension.
as leaders, we do not have to sit idle. There are things we can do now.
Well, you didn't do
While we are
it.
upping our game on testing, identifying, treating, and mitigation, we can start a thorough inventory of the economic damage that has already been done. We can also start working on various projections about the prospects for further economic pain as we go through recovery. We are not in this alone. The best public health, economic, and business minds the world over are developing global, national, state, and even local models that may help us chart a responsible path to economic recovery.
No one is listening to
While
you,
the
darling.
executive branch continues to lead on the immediate response, it is time for this body to start looking to tomorrow. We are less than 6 months away from the start of a new fiscal year. That's a scary proposition because it is impossible to know with 100% accuracy what our economic situation will be on October 1st. But fear of what we do not know today must not prevent us from planning for tomorrow. We already know the tens of millions of dollars in economic damage this has caused. We must assume that tens of millions more in damage will occur before all is said and done. We must at least consider that unlike a localized disaster such as a typhoon or an earthquake, this time we might not be able to depend on the federal government to make us whole again. We must hope for the best, but plan for the worst. There is so much that is unclear in the future, but what is evident today is that our work is not over and that we must come together to accomplish the daunting task ahead. We should fulfill the mandate of the people of Guam by doing all we possibly can to provide for their health, safety, and well-being. Finally, Madam Speaker, we find ourselves in a time of unprecedented global upheaval. People all over the world are afraid. Our people are afraid, and rightly so. Hopefully, we will never again in our lifetimes see a moment like this. We all know that this virus is highly contagious. We who were given the people's trust must step up to the challenge and have the courage to take bold, decisive action.
Get an F.
We must have confidence in ourselves, our government, our island, and its people. We must recognize that, like the virus, our confidence can be contagious too. If we lead with inspired confidence, then our people will rest assured that together we will get through this crisis. It is imperative that we lead with this confidence. Not only this body, but also the elected and appointed officials of the executive branch. It is imperative we take bold, decisive actions today for the sake of our island and the lives and livelihoods of our people 6, 12, and 18 months from now. Madam Speaker, for the sake of our island and our people, these bold, decisive, and confident steps must begin with this body.
The August body.
Speaker,
your body.
I want to thank you again for this opportunity.
That's more like September.
And I want to extend a very sincere thanks to all of our essential workers, our frontline workers, first responders, and medical professionals for carrying us through this difficult time. And I'd like to extend an Easter greeting to everyone in our community. I pray that the blessing of the risen Christ continues to bring us hope and grant us the spirit of unity that we must continue to do. Please stay home and stay safe. Siduos Masi.
Thank you, Amanda Shelter.
Legislative Secretary Shelton.
Secretary Shelter.
Majority Leader Talina Nelson, you are recognized.
Again?
I thought she's talked already.
Madam Speaker, I move that we adjourn today's session.
Oh, Jesus.
To call of the Speaker.
On the motion to adjourn this session, subject to the call of the Speaker, are there any objections? Seeing or hearing none, motion carries. Please be safe, everyone.
Well, Candyland, that's what you get. They prepared that speech last night. If they win or if they lose. Okay? They didn't do that right there. Impossible. But all of them stated in their speech what needs to be done, and none of that was done. None. Zero. Nothing. You're still broke. I'm still broke. Hey. If it was not for Vanessa Bermudez, okay, we would have starved here at Kandit.
Oh, it's her daughter's
Tassi's birthday. Yes, it's Tassi's birthday.
Do we have the images?
Can we give a shout out to Vanessa's daughter, Tassi? She turned 17 today.
Oh, there she is. She's the Mutu one right there.
Tassi Victoria Marie Navarro Tanatungo. Happy 17th birthday, darling. There you go.
Look at those pretty women.
Happy birthday, sweetheart.
Vanessa's gonna kill us.
I love that girl. She got spunked. She got spunked. I saw her a couple weeks ago at the gas station. So I see her get out of a car that's loud music, typical teenager stuff. And so I take my camera, I turn it on. I'm like, how fast, Dusty? How fast? And then she comes over. I send it to Vanessa. So Vanessa sends it to her, I guess. And then Vanessa's like, Hava, what are you doing over there in Jigo? And it's like, Leche, Mom, you got ice everywhere. She's like, you better watch it, or Johnny's going to find you, girl. Happy birthday, sweetheart.
Happy birthday, Tossie. There are a lot of really funny comments that I was looking at. Every time you heard me laughing while whoever was talking, it was because of your comments. They are so freaking funny. I love them all. I love you all so much. That is the end of our coverage of the legislative session. They did not, as we thought that they might, talk about a tax refunds bill. That's sad. I don't know what they keep talking about how
they need to get
the
money.
legislature needs to do something to help the people, but they're leaving it up to the governor, even though they say the governor isn't doing this. It's all like double speak. I guess that's legislative talk for you. I did want to say that I kind of feel sorry for Senator Kelly Tyson because that video where whoever put that video together, and it wasn't Kandit. We would have marked it with our light bulb thing. But from when I first watched it, I was like, why is there typing? I can hear that like iPhone typing thing. And then it zooms into her and everyone's standing up. The poor thing is sitting down. She has no idea what's going on around her. She's just typing away while a prayer is happening for the sailors of the Teddy Roosevelt. And of all people, Miss Bestpack herself, she's the one who doesn't hear the speaker say, let's observe this moment of silence. So the backstory on that is that there was a prayer. The speaker wanted to start the session with a prayer because the day before was the near MMA matchup between Tello Taidegui and Talina Nelson. And so the speaker wanted to camaraderie this and, let's all get along and, patchouli and
so let's pray for ourselves because there's tension. Let's pray for the people on the ship. Let's pray for the sick here on Guam.
They divided it. So it was pray for, Guam and everything, right? And then she called on Senator, so they all sit down after their first prayer. They all sit down and then Senator Mary Torres says, now let's pray for the people aboard the Teddy Roosevelt. And the rest of them stand up, but Kelly Tyson is so busy on her phone. And really, I mean, that could happen to me. I've been so busy on my phone that I miss a lot of things.
Or the session's so boring and he falls asleep.
Yeah. And so, like, I can empathize with her. But of all people and of all times for that to happen, it just had to happen to Kelly Tyson during that prayer thing. Oh boy. One of the senators said this was the legislature's time to shine, and they couldn't.
Yeah.
They couldn't.
They didn't.
And I don't. This should be a lesson to all senators.
And it's not like we just figured out that the governor's not testing enough people today. We knew that when they made their own guidelines against the CDC guidelines at the beginning of this pandemic.
And we've been telling you guys about that. We've been reporting that from the get-go,
Mm-hmm.
that their guidelines were not in line with the CDC, and the reason we're not testing as much is because they added these roadblocks to getting tested. So even if you have mild symptoms, you're not going to get tested. It's great. In the beginning, the guidelines were so strict.
The guidelines are so strict that even I think it's just about a week now that our front lines were able to get tested. But prior to that, they weren't being tested when they were checking in patients or bringing patients, that were in fact COVID positive. And then also, Troy, I wanted to bring up that story of a GMH patient transferred to GRMC that was positive for COVID was brought back to GMH, but we need to know what happened to the frontliners that were taking care of that patient at GRMC? Did they tell them to go home and not infect everybody else there? Like, what happened?
We will
The
never
story
know.
ended there.
Like the senator said, the administration is just so non-transparent. We will never know the answers to the tough questions like that. And they're not even tough questions. Those are just, you would think that the administration would release information like that, get ahead of the story, but they're just not. They're not all that bright, and they don't have great motives. Cousin Ray Gibson says, Bet Lou extends the current executive order until after May 5 out of spite. Maybe.
I don't mind this stay at home, and let's make sure that we don't have it anymore. I'm scared. I don't want to catch it.
I love this stay home thing. I am down for this. I mean, I want people to go to work and all that stuff, but if they could do a whole thing where they're like, you guys don't have to go back to work. I mean, we're working, yes, and I love working from the studio and everything, but I just feel like things are more, like a little more lax. There are no that's why on some days when you don't see any stories coming out of Kandit, that's not because there's no news, that's because I am lazy, and on Netflix and Hulu.
Guys, so your emails, if you emailed your senator, they worked. It worked. Whatever we just did these past couple days, the people have spoken. Mm-hmm. So, I really feel like this election, there's going to be a lot of changes. There's going to be a lot of new butts in those seats.
If we keep at it, Jesse Mendiola and the real Joe Cruz, they keep talking about how it's important to keep up on reminding people about what senators have done. And we have our whole archive of things that we'll bring up throughout the election. A lot of thanks to Ken Leon Guerrero, James Howard, Jason Dotsuin, Glenn Lujan, Ray Gibson, of course, Bob Klitsky, the real Joe Cruz, Mana Silva Tyron, my favoriteest and most beautifulest cousin in the whole wide world, for sticking to this defense of people, and our rights and common sense.
Common sense.
It wasn't always about just defending our constitutional and civil rights, but imploring our government to employ common sense in the decision-making process and transparency. And kudos and thank you to the senators who stuck to their commitment to the people of Guam. A lot of times we like to attack the Guam legislature as one whole body, one whole August, or in Amanda's case, September body. November.
And Troy is a veteran at this whole politics stuff. He understands it more. I'm just new. I'm just learning, and I know a lot of you also is learning. You can ask any. You can ask Ray Gibson questions, Mana questions, Troy questions, and they will be very honest with you. So we may not always agree all the time with everybody, but we love we love the fight. Yeah. We love the fight. And I'm always for the underdog. So,
me too.
If we educate ourselves, education's the best thing. Find things out, study it, research it, so you have knowledge for yourself, so you know where you're going. Because your vote makes a big difference.
Jerry Meneses asks, is the latest news on stimulus checks true? Depends which news, Jerry. If you're talking about the local stimulus fronting of the federal money, according to the governor, that's true, and it's going to happen this week. That's according to the governor. I don't know whether it's true, because I personally don't trust what comes out of the governor's mouth. Now, to advertise on Kandit News, email us at news@kanditnews.com, or go to our website where there's an advertising thing there. I think our rate card is there. You can also call or WhatsApp me at Troy@kanditnews.com. I'm sorry, at 671-456-4237, and Johnny at 671-797-7082. If you want Kandit shirts, call or message Johnny.
But not right now.
Oh, we can mail it.
Oh, by mail, yeah, but I won't meet you, okay?
Yeah, if you want to order Kandit shirts, you can order it through Johnny, and we'll mail it to you at 671-797-7082. 82.
And we haven't asked for donations only because we know you guys need the money.
Everybody's poorly.
Yeah, we're all poor, and I don't want to do that to anybody. But if you do have extra, then you can donate, and we do have a donate button on our website at www.kanditnews.com.
Andy Nicholas says, thanks, Kandit, for some real reporting and telling it like it is. You're really making a difference, and we appreciate you. Kudos to you and Johnny. No, Andy, we appreciate you and everyone else.
Oh, it's Leanne's birthday today.
Happy
Prim,
birthday, Leanne.
Do you have that wedding photo?
No, bro.
It's not there anymore?
No.
Oh.
Let me check.
She's the beautiful lady.
Can you just open her
friend.
face there?
On
Facebook?
On Facebook?
Yeah.
Yes. Later on, we'll go live because we have a lot of news from the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands that we need to get out there. And a lot of it has to do with the financial situation, but also the public health situation over there.
Can we all wish Miss Leanne Mendiola, formerly Cruz, who's one of my dearest friends, a happy birthday. I don't know how old she is, but let's not. She's 30.
She is 20 real. She's 20 real.
Prim, if you go to Troy's computer, everyone can see who Leanne is. There is Leanne and her husband Jesse. Happy birthday, Leanne. We love you.
Happy birthday. So we will be back later. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Troy Torres with Kandit News.
And I'm Johnny Rosario.
And you can't forget you.
Oh, good night.